I just threw the bumper on to give you an idea of what she's gonna look like. So there's the turbo chilling at the top. Underneath here, you can see some of the pipes. You can see the headers. You can see this wastegate dump pipe. Dang. I'm not even done yet, but I am pumped. That looks sick. There's my wastegate dump right down there, all the way up. Hello. So I've got to make this port go to this. This to this, this to this. Last one, and then I do a bung, and we're Gucci. That's awesome. I'm stoked. Oh, I love when a plan comes together. Okay, I finally brought my flange from home. I have like 4 of these at home. But yeah, I'm gonna bolt this guy up with a gasket in between them, just like it was normal, just like it was like I was gonna drive it today. It's gotta be legit, torqued down. Everything's torqued down to spec, ready to go. So now I'm gonna torque this one down, and then I can start on my pipe. And then we're gonna be moving forward. Just to give you reference, I got this wastegate used 3 years ago. And this thing saw some shit before it saw some shit with me. This thing's seen hoonigan. This thing's seen drag racing. This seen street pulls all last year, all year before. This is the OG wastegate that I've ever owned. But I'm putting it on this car because that's where I think it should be. It's also the turbo off of the purple MX-3. I'm just using this for now because I don't have the funds for new stuff. This is why I'm waiting for later on. I can put new stuff, and the new stuff's going to be going on the purple one. Turbo's good. We'll find out for sure though, but it's good, 100%. I already checked it. All right, this is how many pieces I have to do this, and it's not enough. It's probably only enough for half. So I'm gonna cut another length, another 5-foot length of different various pieces of angles and all that fun stuff. I'm not gonna show you it. I've showed you it 3 times now. You don't need to see that shit again. So I'm just gonna do it and then get back here and then start welding and tacking and making things sick. Okay, I'm back. I've got my pipes cut up, ready to go and mock things up. Tack here, tack there, get the pipe ready. I need to get it as long as I can, so basically figure out everything without mounting it onto here or mounting it onto here, because this is going to be the hardest weld because it's so close to this pipe. So I'm going to just start here because this is removable and go to there. Okay, this is where I'm at. It's looking sick, man. Like, so stoked right now. So, that's about what it's gonna be. Just straight squid. So, I need to make a piece for inside here. I'm gonna go cut a few, and hopefully I can nail it. I'm gonna cut a big piece and bring her down until it's fitting, but I think it's gonna take me a couple shots to do it because it has to be perfect. It can't be like shoved in there. It can't be gaps. It's TIG welding, guys. Like, it's got to be perfection. You can't weld until it's perfection. So this is exactly what I was going for looks wise. So now I just got to connect it and then squid life, you know? Okay, here's my plan. I'm planning on removing this pipe from here. I only have one tack on here, but on all the other ones, I have around 4. So I got as many as I could with the room I have here. So I'm thinking of removing these 2 bolts from this flange on the wastegate, pulling it off, bending off that tack, getting it to the bench, welding it fully all the way around, and then coming back here, and then hopefully it meets up the same as it does here, and I can weld it on and I'm done. But I don't know if it's gonna be that easy. I'm gonna go ahead with it. I'm just letting it cool for a minute. It's kind of hot, and I'll see what happens. Okay, here she is. This is the side I couldn't tack, so I'm just moving everything slowly. I don't want to bend anything. The tacks are obviously solid, but just being over careful. So I'm gonna tack everything again from the back and then fully weld it, and hopefully it stays solid and not warping. So just tack slowly across the whole thing and don't overheat it, and just be very, very careful, and it should work. Okay, she's welded up. Now I'm gonna go try it on to the engine. She's all bolted up, and unfortunately the pipe warped about 1/4 of an inch because I am not 100% not the greatest at preventing warp yet. It's very science, like you gotta weld on each side, then the other side. It's just all screwed up. Anyways, it's just a pattern that I need to figure out or research. But yeah, I'm gonna have to cut here and then continue this pipe to there, and weld it up. Hopefully I have enough gas. Okay, a couple more adjustments and I'm ready to weld the final joint. As you can see, I marked a little bit on there. I have to take a little material out of there because it can't be rubbing. I'm gonna tack one on each side, let it cool. Then I'm gonna tack one on top and bottom, let it cool, then take it off, and then tack a little bit more and then weld it around and see if it fits. The thing is when I put it back in, it's gonna wanna move because the heat warps everything, right? So I've been fighting this for pretty much 2 hours. I'd weld it up and it fights it, weld it up, fights it. I think I'm starting to get the hang of what the heat does and how to control the heat warping. So hopefully this is my last shot. Okay, I've got a good weld on it. I'm gonna just take this set of bolts out and see if it's gonna stay in the same spot where the bolts line up. Jesus. Okay, unbolting. Doesn't seem too bad. I loosened the bolt here and both of them are very free moving, as in there's no pull on anything from the weld. So I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna remove this now and finish welding underneath. So hopefully it doesn't move. I'm just gonna have to take my time, try not to have anything warp too much. All right guys, I'm gonna give you a little bit of an update. So I've been struggling for 5 hours now on this last pipe, this last piece of the puzzle. And it's been driving me crazy. I broke my camera lens. I've been having a time and a half. Been learning a lot about distortion, so when I've been welding this piece, sorry, this is the piece that was in my car. My issue here is this is mounted solidly because it's attached to this guy here, and this is mounted solidly because it's mounted to the turbo. So there's no play. It's not like I just make a downpipe and if it distorts a 1/4 of an inch, it's fine. Here it can't be, because this needs to be able to unbolt and bolt seamlessly when it's needed. So this can't distort. Even though it's physically impossible to have no distortion, I just have to minimize it as much as I possibly can and tweak things accordingly to make it work. So I've welded this probably 5 times now to try and get it to work, but every time I take it off and re-put it on just to make sure that it's doable again later on if I have a problem with the car, is they don't line up. But this time I went online and looked up a bunch of ways to help distortion, and I've exaggerated it as much as I can. Right now I'm in between tacks and stuff. So I've got tacks all the way around. I've waited in between my tacks, and now I'm starting to weld. And I just took this whole piece off of my car. I was smart when I made this. I made a V-band down here. So once that V-band's done, all I gotta do is take that off, the in and out for the oil, so the turbo feed and oil drain, and then the V-band. Boom. Took me literally a minute to get it out, and it all slides out. No issues there. So this whole piece is together. The only thing that was keeping it out is that V-band. Anyways, now it's best to have it clamped. So technically this is clamped because it's clamped in between this mounted fixture, which is the feed to the wastegate, and this is the mounted fixture that's mounted to the turbo. Only like a little bit it can move, but this is way better now. Now I can actually weld all the way around it. It's clamped technically, and hopefully this is the last time I weld this pipe, and it's gonna be going back in. But before I go back in, I'm going to polish it up and then maybe do something to my cold side on the turbo. That has a problem. But yeah, I broke my screen, so I had to use my backup, which was my original, and it has marks on it. So deal with it until I get the new one in like a day or two. So yeah, things are coming along. It's been a huge learning experience for me. It's been incredible. Like, I've learned so much about distortion and all that. I didn't even think that was gonna be a problem, but this pipe has been a lot of work. And would I change it? Nope, I wouldn't change that at all. I've learned so much, and I'm very thankful for that. So I'm gonna just let it cool, do some welds, let it cool, do some welds, and then take the pipes off and then try and put them back on, and hopefully it doesn't distort. Hopefully this is the last time tonight. Okay, now it's time for me to sand and polish this piece and this weld and this weld. And then I can put it onto the car and then make my tip to come out the bumper, and that should be it. Here she is, all polished up. Damn, that looks nice. That was a lot of work. That took me a month and a half to build, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Looks awesome. Learned a lot. Looks actually really crazy. So the only thing I have to do now is put an O2/wideband bung in right there. I've already drilled the hole, and I have to put a tip on for the bumper exit. So I'll do that in another video. So I'm just gonna install this and show you what it looks like on the car. She's on and she's done. Looks awesome. Got my wastegate routed back into the normal exhaust for my muffler, so it's gonna be nice and quiet. Got my wideband hole, down pipes done, up pipes done. Routed around for the in on the wastegate. This thing's nuts. It's looking sweet. So now This has been a huge job. The headers were a huge job, and then this was a huge job in itself. I was a full day just on one piece on here to try and get it to match up, to get everything not warping and welding it in, because this piece is mounted solid and this piece needs to bolt up. So it needed to be perfect and it couldn't warp when I was doing it. So I did it 5 times and this was the 5th time, and now she's good. I had to basically weld it all on the car. So I had to basically just do that, and it worked. Because if I had this unbolted and I welded it, it would warp and it would, the bolt holes wouldn't line up. Then I have to cut it and restart on like only one piece though. I had to redo one piece 5 times. But yeah, guys, it's all done. It's looking sweet. This thing's gonna be a monster. I just threw the bumper on to give you an idea of what she's gonna look like. So there's the turbo chilling at the top. Underneath here, you can see some of the pipes. You can see the headers. You can see this wastegate dump pipe. You can see the up pipe. You'd have to get on the ground to see this, but it's there. So this is all gonna be hit by air. So it's gonna be helping keep the exhaust cool, which is good. And then you'll see this. This pipe isn't attached, but dang. Just a mess of pipes. Can't wait to actually be done. I'm getting there, slowly but surely. After I finish this insane exhaust, it's just uphill from here because I've done everything else a million times. So it shouldn't be too bad. I've got to get the hood and fender done because it's not the paint color of the car. So I'm gonna have to do something special for that. So yeah, in the next video, I'm going to be making a video on how I'm gonna be making my dump for the side here. And that's gonna be a little bit of a job. They're looking sweet.